What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to do a video today on one of the most common mowers I get in the shop. It's the new Honda HRN216. Yeah, HRN216. This mower is actually only 1 season old. It was bought in like March of 23. A little dirty, a little dusty, but primary concern is it doesn't start now. About 85% of the work that I do is carburetor related, and today I just wanted to kind of go over why, and you know, let's tear into this carb, get it all cleaned out, show you guys how to do it. This customer states he uses nothing but 100% non-ethanol gas. We will see, but here's the attempt at starting it. The gas is turned on. Nozzle right there, that's turned on. It's got plenty of gas because he filled it up. Spark plug's connected. No more fire. So, show you how quick and easy it is with some simple tools. Get this situation resolved. All right. So I got it up here on the table, and we're going to start tearing into it. I'll go over some of the tools that are mostly common for these, and some other ones that are going to help quite a bit. I prefer to use my DeWalt impact driver with a 10mm. Some of them are 3/8, but we're going to start by pulling off the air filter cover. That's also too one other reason why sometimes you'll have a hard time starting. This air filter is not horrible, but should get a new one every season, and throughout the season it should be blown out, cleaned out. First thing I'm going to do is turn that gas off, and we're going to pull these two 10mm nuts right out. Get those there. Now this slides right off. There's a crankcase breather hose connected to this in the back. You're going to want to rotate it a little bit, break it free, pops right off. So there's that crankcase breather hose. That's really important. It goes right there. So we're going to set that to the side, and I can already see there's some fuel that's looking a little greenish. So let's see, and don't mind me, I'm horrible with cameras. I don't typically do these videos, but this gasket's really important. Wipe that off and set this to the side. And let's see, fuel is off. And again, it's really important, don't just go ripping fuel lines off, because they get stuck on there really good. Pair of pliers if you need to, but typically I just grab a hold of it and rotate it back and forth a little bit, make sure it's broke free so you don't damage it. Now, gasoline on a lot of lawnmower finishes is not good. Honda's a lot better because they have this protective coating that they use on here, but I like to go ahead and put a rag underneath it, because if you have any other style of lawnmower, that gas will just eat that paint right up. So we're going to go ahead and gently disconnect this fuel line. I'm going to try to be gentle with it. There we go, it's starting to come off. These little pinch clips don't really put a whole lot of pressure, but I'm going to see today if I can get this one to loosen up. Having a set of forceps, oh my gosh, they're amazing. They're so good for so many different reasons. Very versatile when working on small engines. And I'm going to go over a couple other tools when we get to the carb breakdown. That'll really help you save a lot of time and frustration, and keep you from damaging parts. Alright, that's off good enough. Go ahead here and work this fuel line off. There we go. Yeah. Now she's loosened up good. Let that fuel line drain on that rag, not on the mower. There's that. Now this will slide right off. Always be aware that this governor rod, this linkage, it's delicate. Be easy with it. This spring is one of the most important parts of how your machine's going to operate. So be very delicate with it. Don't be rough with it. You got really big hands and clunky hands and can't get yourself to get this spring off. Get you a pair of forceps. Pinch it nice and gently, and you can manipulate that spring right out. So you don't want to bend it, kink it, stretch the linkage, stretch the coils, or none of that stuff. Now when I take this carb off with this linkage here, I like to block the fuel spout so it doesn't just dump fuel everywhere. And there it is. Alright, carburetor's off. I'm going to turn us around here and get this thing set up where we can start tearing it apart and cleaning it. Hopefully this is going to show everything I want you to see. Got another rag here, and should have got my stool, but that's all right. So again, 10 millimeter on the carburetor bowl. Crack that loose. This is where it makes a mess, but it's all right. Bottom of that nut, that bolt will tell you how crusty it is before you even open it, and that's crystal clean. So the bowl's off. The gasket's still stuck on there. If it is, leave it on there. The gasket's super important. But that bowl looks pretty clean. Doesn't look bad. The float, everything inside looks good. There may even be a different problem with this unit. I don't know. This carburetor does not look bad. But sometimes it can fool you. One little obstruction will cause that. So I just pulled the pin out, the float pin out that allows the float to rotate. There's the needle. I just kind of keep them in a clean section off to the side. Now, most would think this is pretty much disassembled, but there's a lot more. And let me show you. One of the tools that is really important when working on small engines is good quality screwdrivers. And let me go ahead and show you which ones I'm talking about. Of course, the most common tool I use all the time is not where I need it to be. Here we go. I would recommend to go online and pick up a good set of your Japanese metric screwdrivers. These Japanese metric screwdrivers are specifically designed to work on, well, basically a lot of things that are Japanese or Chinese. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but that screw right in there has a dot on it. There's a little tiny dot indentation. Anytime you see a screw with that dot on there, that's telling you that's a Japanese metric. And although this tip might look like your standard regular Phillips, it's absolutely not. If you were to get your old school grandfather's Craftsman screwdriver and stick it in here and try to pry this little screw loose, you will destroy the threads on that. You'll destroy the head on that, and it will not come out. So these Japanese metric ones are amazing. They fit so good, perfectly tight in there, and it will not destroy them. This screw here that I'm taking out, that's to access one of the other jets. It's extremely important to get that cleaned out, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. But listen to this pop when this thing comes loose. There it goes. Whew. That one was in there, but did not destroy the head of the screw, because the metal it's made from is not good. It's kind of weak. But that screw, it is stuck on there. That ain't going nowhere. Now we're going to go ahead and access deep down inside here. Ooh, if I can get this camera not to fall over, we're going to access that little bitty hole that's deep down inside there. Now the other reason why it's important to get Japanese metric is the blade of this is just super precision. It's nice and thick. It's very strong. But reaching down inside down here to get your jets out, those are made of brass, which is one of the softest metals there are. And you reach in there with a regular flathead, you will most likely destroy them. This locks in there nice and tight and evenly. And I'm going to put a little pressure here to make sure I don't waller nothing out. And there it goes. Came out just like that. Let me get this here. There we go. These particular screwdriver sets, they come in a set of like 6. And these are made by Vessel. And they're called the Vessel ball screwdriver set. These are just amazing in every way. They're ratcheting both directions. And you can also take it off and put bits in there for a nut driver. And you can switch to different screwdriver bits for different sizes. These are amazing. They've never let me down. They're a little on the pricey side, but you know what? Out of all the years I've destroyed carbs and got so frustrated because I couldn't get these jets out, this is worth its weight in gold. It really is. And it works on so many other applications. So, now, we got both jets out, and I am shocked. They are clean. I can see through all the holes. There's no obstruction. I didn't check for fire due to the fact this machine's basically brand spanking new. I did check oil level, and I checked for fresh gas. But this carb is just amazingly clean. But that right there, that little hole right there, is something that will get you almost every time. If you skip on that, and you'll put your carb back together thinking you're done, and you fire that machine up and it starts surging like crazy, it's because of that right there. And I'll show you what I use, aside from the normal carburetor tools, to get that sucker cleaned out, because that's a little itty-bitty hole. Get this carb tool set up here. Alright. Now these carb tools, this little kit, they're you can get these a dime a dozen on Amazon. These are great for all different kinds of cleaning out jets and such. The smallest one is kind of broken off here. I tend to use these. When you pull this out, typically it's a little bit of a bear to get them out when they're stuck in there, corroded up with bad gas. And this one's a horrible example, because normally these would be all gummed up and stopped up, but this is crystal clean. But you need some small little wires. Some people use guitar strings, some people use other things, but I just bought the carb tool set. And you want to go through each and every single one of these holes in here, all the way around them, and ream them out really good. I typically use some carb cleaner, some starting fluid, different stuff to break up this gunk that might be up in here. This is not the best of examples because it's literally crystal clean. I use one of the thicker ones to ream out the whole entire thing here. And then I spray them all out, blow them out with my air compressor, make sure they're all clean. Now, this little guy, if you can even see it, that's just a tine from one of my wire brushes. I pull it out of the brush, make sure it's nice and clean and there's no barbs or sharp, jagged edges, because you don't want to scar up the brass here. But for the smaller holes, you'll need something real small. And I'm going to go ahead and ream that out. Ream that one out, turn it, ream this one out, turn it, ream this one out, and ream that one out. So, now that all the jets are cleaned out, at least from any debris or anything else, I'm going to start on this one. A lot of times I'll like to keep wiping the tip off to make sure I'm not putting any more junk down in there. But these little jets here, you want to go around in circles, kind of scrape off anything that might be in there, blow it out, spray it out with some carb cleaner. This one here is just clearly not even going to need it because it's just perfect. But you can see that's nice and clean. Hopefully you can see that. Again, I'm not good at these videos, but this is the most important one here. And sometimes this you need assistance to get this thing all the way down and through. That hole is so tiny. So a piece of wire like I'm using, oh look at that. That just went all the way through like butter. Normally I have to get a pair of pliers and gently force it to puncture through and remove whatever debris is in there. But I like to ream that out back and forth, up and down, just really get all that stuff cleared out. See, look, it's stuck. Ooh. And back again. Okay. So primarily most of this is done. Now You have inlets here, down inside there, breather hole here, or overflow weep hole there. This particular model doesn't have that little side tube that comes up and has a hole in it to blow that out. But I'm going to get some cleaner here. I should find one single can. There we go. Get this camera screen turned back on. Alright. A little starting fluid, a little carb cleaner. Again, just because this brand is not really the best, it leaves a really bad residue on all the metal material. I tend to like to use the starting fluid. It just really breaks stuff up a little better. I'm going to stick this tube right down inside here. Splash that out, make sure that's flowing out. Make sure that's flowing out. Where the needle sits. Whoop, squirting that out. Go both ways. And definitely some down the throat there. Back down on top of here. Alright. Just rinsing it out. Now I'm going to use the air compressor. Hopefully it's not going to kick on, because that'll suck. Blow it out. Blow out the fuel inlet pipe. Jets, everything, every hole that we can. Okay. Now, I really wish this carb was dirty, because this one here is ready for reassemble. You make sure you put these things back in the right way. That stovepipe needs to go down first. Then you're going to go ahead and put this in. Make sure you put it in with the thread, the screw bit top facing up, because good Lord, is it a nightmare to get it out when you put it in upside down. Ask me how I know. Alright. Get that bit seated. Nice and easy. That's seated nice. A little tension on there. Nothing crazy. Don't want to mash it up. The needle itself is nice and clean. It's not malformed. This tip is good. If this thing actually fires up, I'm going to be shocked, only because I didn't technically clean anything. 99.9% of the ones I get are just nasty. They're disgusting. Coated with a bunch of ethanol, a bunch of just gross leftover fuel. He says he uses 100%, so that's all I got to go on. Blow out the bowl. Bowl back on. This right here with the 10mm. Again, nothing crazy, nothing hard. I know my drill very well, so I know when I hear that click, I'm good. Don't go crazy with it. You're not trying to send it back to China. Sorry about that. Alright, this here, and that screw is just still locked in. I mean, these screwdrivers, I just can't tell you how freaking useful they are. These are amazing. Okay, a little tight there. Okay, carb is done. We're gonna go ahead and reinstall it, and I'll just flip you around where you can see me a little better. There we go. Alright, so 2 holes right there. The thicker one is for your actual linkage rod, and the one closer to the actual engine itself, the smaller holes for that spring. I just do mine a certain way. I'm not saying this is the right way or the only way. This is just the way that helps me get through it nice and easy. Boom, that's already back in. Go ahead and reinstall that there. Get that up and over. Fuel line. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Let's make sure we get good fuel flow. Yeah, I'd say that's good fuel flow. Not too worried about that there. Fuel's a little on the yellowish side. Oof. Yeah, that fuel don't look good. I'm gonna go ahead and siphon that fuel out. I don't like the way that looks. So, stick the tube in here. You could just simply drain it and into a glass jar, or use a funnel. And alright, that's good enough. Get 99% of that fuel out. Alright. I'm going to fold this rag up a little bit, turn that on. Not really a whole lot that's there, so I'm going to go ahead and reconnect this fuel line. Put my clamp, this little clip back in position here. These little pinch clips are just horrible. They're not fun to work with. There we go. There it is. Boop, back in place. Alright, so, yep, there's the tube. Fell out. Let's get that back in there. That's important. Very important. Now, carburetor gaskets. That's also one of the main failures I see. A client decides that he's going to work on it himself. These gaskets have to go on a certain way. They will fit other ways. Doesn't look that bad. Will not run. That hole is going to be lined up with that hole. Everything goes on a very, very unique way, in a certain way, for a very important reason. Okay, we're going to wipe out, oops, sorry, we're going to wipe out this air box here. Get that gunk out of there from whatever was sitting. Now, it's important too, if you have a machine that's nasty, dirty, blow it all off, spray it down, blow it all off first before you take it apart. You don't want stuff getting down into places it shouldn't be. But here we go. We're going to put this air box back on. Well, the collar popped out. It doesn't want to seat in there correctly. There it goes. This tube, not really seated in there good. Let me see if I can shove that back in further. Okay. Yeah, that's a very important tube. It's got to be on there. So, feed this back on there. I'm going to use my forceps again. See what I'm saying? You can't get your hands back in here, but you can use forceps as your fingers. There we go. That's back in place. That's in. We're back to putting these nuts back in. Again, be easy. You don't need to, these things don't require 400 pounds of torque. One there, a couple clicks. Couple clicks. Alright. Now, fresh fuel. See what happens. I think this one's come down to just bad gas maybe. I don't know. I'm going to check the plug while I'm at it. Good fresh fuel. That's not yellow. Put that back on. Spark plug off. We got 13/16. I'm going to go ahead and pull this plug. There we go. See, I like that. That plug was nice and snug and tight, but it wasn't put on there with the strength of Moses or whatever. Okay. That could be a good reason why. This thing is saturated, flooded. Big time. Really saturated wet. And I don't care if it's pure, fresh, 100% gasoline. If this thing is soaked like that, it will not fire. Now, also, never a problem to change spark plugs, but it's not always required. Spark plugs are tough. They're designed to last. And sometimes they just need to be cleaned up a little bit and verify the gap. So what I do is I spray them down with some more starting fluid or some other cleaner just to get it nice and wet, and clean that igniter up. Don't have to be super pretty. Don't need to look brand new. There's my ups guy. Well, I think I'm getting some parts today. I don't know. So, a little better than it was. A little better than it was. A little bit of gunk on there. That's all right. That's not horrible. But we're going to check the gap. Had a mower come in late last night. Lady really needed that mower running. See, that's a little too much. That's a little too much. Mower sat, wouldn't run. Oh no, I done mashed it shut. But really needed my help, so I offered to do a carb service on it. Tore the carb apart. There we go. I like that a little better. All right, so that's gapped properly. Yeah, carb service. Carb was nasty. Cleaned it all out. Put it all back together. Barely would run. I go around to the front, realized the spark plug boot wasn't connected. That was my fault. And then I saw this plug and I said, nope, don't like these plugs. Went to go take it out and it was literally only threaded in. It was sticking out this much. It was only threaded in probably 6 threads. Got rid of this thing. After I tightened it up and tried to fire it, wouldn't fire. Put a brand new NGK in, fired up instantly, ran like a top. It was perfect. She loved it. All right, so the spark plug's been cleaned. And let me turn you back here. This camera screen so I know what I'm showing you. Spark plug's been cleaned. It's been re-gapped because the gap was a little bit too big. Some people like to gap them a little bigger because it gives a bigger spark. It's going to burn more fuel. But what it honestly does is it starts to really wear out your ignition coil. So just stick to the specs. That's what these guys are paid to engineer and how they do them. You know, they know their stuff. I don't know their methods behind most of what they do, but they know their stuff. All right, I'm going to throw in a new air filter. I've got one. There we go. This one. Here. All right. A little cleaner of an air filter in there. The air filter cover box. When you clean out your filter, don't forget to blow this box out. Clean this out some. I'm going to blast it with some air. Okay, just a little bit. Get all that grime out. All right. Let me set this down. Turn the camera and see what this thing's going to do. I don't like firing them up on the bench. Let me move you over. Come join the party here. Let's see here. What are you seeing? All right. Let's see if this thing's gonna fire. Gas is not on. Turn it up. Let the carb fill up for a second. See my view? I got a nice view. I don't have to like get this cable out of the way. A little lake right there. Pretty cool view. All right, carburetor bowl's probably filled up a little bit. We'll see what happens. Probably gonna take about, if it works, it's gonna take about 3 pulls. And there it is. Sometimes they don't have to be dirty. Really dirty. But I did put some fresh fuel in it because that other fuel was a little questionable. Checked on the spark plug. And there she is. First pull. I figured it'd take at least 2 or 3. But yeah, first pull. Let's do that again. And while I'm at it, I'm going to mention something else that people do that irk me to no end. Here we go. Okay. One of the things that irks me, and I try to tell all my customers to stop doing it. This lever right here is a dual action lever. It allows spark to go to the spark plug when it pushes that little button in. Some of them have a button, some don't. But it also pulls the brake pad off of the flywheel. And this thing's spinning at whatever RPMs they're spinning. Don't flame me because I don't know the RPMs, but it's what they do when they just do this when they're done mowing. It's the equivalent of setting your parking brake, stabbing your parking brake while you're going down the highway. It's going to wear out the side of your flywheel faster, wear out the brake pad faster. Just don't do it. Just be nice and easy and let it naturally slow down until it shuts itself off. But people do it all the time. They'll fire them up, boom, and they'll just pop that brake. Don't do that. It's not good for the machine. So, I don't know if I'm going to post this, but if I do, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Any questions, any thoughts? You want more videos? Because I really want to do more videos, but I really got to get better at them because I'm horrible at it. So, yeah. There you go. There's the carburetor service on a Honda. The next one, I promise, I'll make sure it's the nastiest carburetor possible, so you guys can see the real nitty-gritty of what that ethanol fuel does. I do believe the customer used 100% gas in this one, and for whatever reason, it would not fire on the leftover gas that was in it. That's a little odd, but yeah, to the next one. Thanks, guys.